Hey folks, hope you're doing well. In response to an email I got from a student, I'm going to talk a little bit about course requirements and what we're expecting as we actually are going to begin classes technically this week. The pause is over. What we called reading week is now going to be in class. So a couple things are pretty important. First, I've posted a discussion forum on John Dewey. And what I'm going to need you to do is everyone needs to post either an original response to the John Dewey readings or a response to a classmate who's already responded to the John Dewey readings that we did for week 1. I need this to happen because I'm going to use it to make sure we've got a participation role, basically. Some of you haven't logged into Moodle, and I'm concerned. I wouldn't want someone to fail the course because they in fact wanted to withdraw. And so I'm going to turn in a roster report to the graduate office for those that haven't posted anything on Moodle this week and try to follow up so that there's no accidental failures, which sometimes happens. So if you know folks in your class and in your cohort and they haven't posted anything yet, give them a call. Shoot them an email, give them a text. I've got this, has to happen this week so that we don't have any unintended negative consequences. So I appreciate that. One post, either an original or a response to somebody in the class specifically about John Dewey, right? Those 2 readings, Child in the Curriculum and the one from Theory for Education. I'll be posting some other stuff too to give you a little more background and context, but let's start with that for now. The next thing is the reaction paper. And I can't really stress enough spending some time with the syllabus, particularly in this situation where I'm not there face-to-face to answer some questions. So really take a look at the syllabus and look at the expectations that are laid out there. If you look for reaction papers, these are 2 to 3 pages in length. They should be APA style. They should be, I'm looking at the syllabus now, make sure I don't misspeak. They are reaction papers, not reflection papers. And my distinction there is important. Sometimes in the School of Education, we ask for reflection papers that are really kind of stream of consciousness, almost diary entries. They often begin with, I believe the children are the future. That is not what I'm talking about. This is graduate school, so these are reaction papers where I'm starting to assess your level of engagement with the texts. Therefore, APA format is critical because the way to test or to take a look at the way you're engaging with these texts is through citations, either parenthetical, where you're kind of summarizing what's being said, or a direct quote. And we have to be rather meticulous about that, in that writing properly and formally is such an important part of graduate school. So APA format is critical. There is, whether you're familiar with APA or not, you need to become familiar with it, in that it is the citation style for the discipline of education. So even if you know Chicago or MLA, there's still no excuse for not putting a direct quote in quotation marks and appropriately citing with the page number and all the details that are there. So please spend some time. But that's what I'm looking for. So now what do I mean? I mean, I'm asking you to form an opinion based on what you've read to that point in the course, what you've read so far. So that'll be cumulative over the semester, where you'll be adding, you'll be reading more things, and you can pull from those sources in a much more broader sense as we go along with the course. Basically, the 2 main rules are don't turn in anything to me that you could have written before you took the course. So what I mean is, I want to see the readings that we've assigned here in ED 651 specifically. I want to see them show up in your writing. Now, you don't have to agree with them, right? But you do need to engage with those texts. If you disagree, you need to tell me why. And the best way to do it is use a quotation or a paraphrase, and then say, here's where I think this idea is off base. In graduate school, every piece of writing you do is an argumentative essay, right? You have an opinion, you have a point, you have a thesis statement, and you aren't riding the fence, right? You need to take a position and use the readings as your backup, right? So be careful about unsubstantiated claims. You want to use the text to back up the point that you're trying to make. The other tip I will tell you, it's very important, is don't assume that I agree with everything that I assign, because I don't. In a similar way, don't assume that everything I assign agrees with each other, because they don't. I'm presenting you with a wide variety of different ideas. This is called curriculum theories, that's plural, and they don't all agree. The Klebard book, Struggle for the American Curriculum, is exactly that. It's a struggle, right, about different ideas about education that battle it out over the course of the history of U.S. education. So they don't; those ideas don't agree either. So don't try to write a paper where you assume you know what I'm looking for, or you assume that everything that is assigned is something I agree with, because that's not true. So if I start to see that kind of work, it's going to tell me that you're not reading deeply enough. You're kind of at a shallow level, and you're not really pushing these ideas. Now, to that end, the discussion forum is going to be that much more critical, because that's a place where you can bounce around some ideas, you can raise some questions before turning it into a formal reaction paper. So that's a place to explore a little bit, to raise questions, to learn from each other, to say, do I have this right? And particularly given our online format, it's even more important. So that's the reaction papers, and there is one due coming up. Check the date on the Moodle site. And this will be a bit of an experiment, because it'll be the first one you're doing, but my intention is to get it back to you with lots of feedback, so that you're able to make changes where that needs to happen and understand where you've done a great job. So we're going to move that forward kind of as planned. The annotated bibliography is where you need to start thinking about a final paper. And so again, check the syllabus for the requirements about the final paper. It's on page 3 of the syllabus. It is an 8 to 10 page paper. I'm expecting you to not only pull from the resources that we read here in class, but also go to some other resources through the library website. I've created a post on the Moodle side of curriculum journals with links there where you can go directly to those journals, and you can go and explore different things. Now, it's not a specific prompt or topic here, because I'm assuming you all have different interests. And I'd rather that this work be valuable to you and useful to you, in the sense of how does thinking about curriculum theory help me understand something in my professional educative life. So I always get a wide variety of topics and papers, and that's good. I think it's better for you as students. It's more interesting for me as an instructor. But I know that in the beginning, sometimes you're thinking, wow, it's too big, I don't know what to write about. But that's where I want you to start doing some thinking on that now. What an annotated bibliography is you're going to list these citations in full APA format, just like you would do on a reference page, and then a short paraphrased, few sentences about what this article is and how it leads to your topic. Again, I understand that's in process. Main reason we're doing this is to keep you moving, so we can get a final paper done within the 8 weeks. And I'll give you feedback on that as well. And part of that might be, hey, go look at this author. Here's an article you might be interested in. Or here's another student that's doing something similar. Maybe you can share resources. So that's the intention of the annotated bibliography. It's not set in stone. You might tweak it a little bit. You might change it, hopefully not entirely, but you may make some adaptations as you move forward. on the paper. I'm not holding you to it like, oh, you didn't use source number 3. I'm not going to do that. But I am asking you to get moving on this final paper project, because that's how we get this done. Finally, I want to say there's a discussion forum for questions, concerns, comments that's general, where you can post those things. If you think it's a question or concern that maybe the whole class needs to know the answer, please post that there. But if you've got personal concerns, please shoot me an individual email and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. So I think that's it for our expectations around some assignments that are coming up as we kind of get into the course situation. And again, stay in touch and we will get this moving as fast as we can. Thanks.